And for today, we are joined live in the studio by Senatorial aspirant Kiko Pangilinan. We'll be discussing the current state of the agricultural sector, its challenges and potential solutions. We'll also touch on recent political developments, including Vice President Sara Duterte's impeachment. Welcome to Morning Matters.
Thank you for having me, Gretchen, and to your viewers and listeners, magandang umaga.
Sanay naman po kayong magising ng maaga, no?
Walang problema. Before dawn.
Well, let's go to our top story for today, which is the importation of onions.
Yes.
So the DA is proposing importing about 4,000 metric tons of onions, to which the farmers cry out that why are you importing in the middle or right at the peak of harvest season? The DA has responded to that, saying that this will be for limited time and limited quantity right before the harvest season by March. By the full harvest by third week of March to April. So
Yes.
bago yon, may window that the imports will be happening. Your thoughts on that?
Well, it's really a question now of how you will implement it. No? Because if it's implemented properly, ibig sabihin papasok siya sa tamang panahon at maire-release sa tamang panahon, then it will manage our supply correctly and therefore hindi magsa-spike yung prices. Ang problema dyan is precisely historically na hindi minamanage ng tama yung pag-release ng mga imported na produkto. And because of that, nadadali yung local producers kasi sinasabayan para bumagsak ang presyo and they're forced to sell low.
What's the problem? Is
Well,
it
several factors.
delays?
No. There was a report, a PPA report, about 5 months or 4 months ago, na the rice that was imported had been in the ports for about 3-4 months. Hindi nilalabas. It's really, pag nilabas mo kasi yung bigas and you flood the market with rice prices will drop. But if you keep it, you hoard it, and you release it slowly, then the prices will stay high, and therefore you make a killing out of it. So it's really a syndicated effort to earn tens of millions or even hundreds of millions in managing or mismanaging actually the supply. It's the same for when we were Food Security Secretary. At one point, because rice prices were going up, we flooded NCR, increased the supply of NFA rice then, because we had the power then, up to 75%. We almost doubled the supply of rice in NCR. Therefore, pag marami ang supply, bababa
talaga.
ang presyo.
And we ask for your thoughts on this because, as you mentioned, you were former presidential assistant for food security and agriculture modernization. During your time in the Pinoy administration, you mentioned you were able to capture smugglers, hoarders.
Yes.
You were able to raid warehouses.
Yes. We were able and revoke permits to operate and confiscated precisely about ₱500 million worth of smuggled, hoarded rice in a period of 3 months. This was the signal to the traders that if you don't release your rice, we will confiscate it. So
But the government has already expressed a hardline stance on smugglers and hoarders. Do you think at this point that they're still doing the right things? I mean, for one, we talked about rice.
Kulang pa. And it has to be calibrated and organized. I read the other day about NBI filing, confiscating about a warehouse, and old rice being repacked as new. So this has to be continuing. What we did then was we raided not just in one area. We raided in Luzon, in Visayas, and in Mindanao.
Pero parang hindi po matigil-tigil itong problema.
Well,
Kung
look,
mula nung panahon na yon hanggang sa ngayon.
Yes.
I mean, what is lacking?
Just to finish the story.
Yes.
And because we did that in a period of 1 year, and we refused to allow importations to be abused, rice inflation went down from 15 to 0.8%. And nationwide inflation by 2015, September, was the lowest in 20 years. In other words, if you manage rice, pretty much all other, not man all, but most of the basic commodities will follow suit. So it can be done. We did it. So you're asking me, what do they have to do? They'll just do what we did. And vigorously and within in a fixed time period. Hindi pwedeng pahapyaw-hapyaw. Hindi pwedeng isa rito tapos mamaya. In fairness to Secretary Laurel, when I sat down with him, he was serious about. He took down notes. We met for close to 2 hours. No? And after that, I saw some of the efforts into it. I hope that the executive department, Malacanang, is also all out behind him. Because that's what happened with my case. President Aquino was all out behind me. And therefore, wala kaming sinanto.
Well, last week, government declared a food security emergency, allowing the release of buffer stocks of NFA rice into the market.
Yes, that's
precisely. Do you think that was necessary?
Well, that's what I said earlier. No? We flooded the market with NFA rice during our time, which helped bring down rice prices. So they're going to have to be quick in doing this. They have 300,000 metric tons of, that's about 10 days supply.
But that's also aging rice.
But if you remill it, it will become good quality rice. Less expensive also. Not the imported 5% broken, but it is still good quality rice. Diyan kumikita yung maraming mga trader. Binibili nila yung old stocks, they will remill it. A portion of it will be for feeds, but the bulk will be for consumers.
But won't the oversupply or the supply in the market also cut into the profits of the local rice millers?
Not necessarily so because mataas ang presyo ng pagkain ng bigas eh. You have to bring it down, no? Kulang ang supply. So you're not really, technically, you're not competing with your
But you're just leveling it out.
Yes, and you're making sure that you bring down. Ang labanan kasi dito, volume. No? In other words, if you bring it down 1-2 pesos per kilo, at retail, for the man on the street, malaking bagay yun. For the trader, maliit lang yun. It's very, very small. Saan ka nakakita? Bumibili sila ng palay, for example. In Sorsogon, they were buying it at 13 pesos a kilo. Lugi yun, yung palay. When the local government decided a week later, and I talked to the governor there, to buy it at 20 pesos a kilo, yung palay. Kasi yung trader, 13 lang eh. Yung gobyerno, because pwede na sa batas na ipinasa natin, direct ang bibili sa farmer sa tamang presyo. When the government bought it at 20, the following week, the traders were buying it at 23. Ibig sabihin, pwede palang dagdagan ng 10 piso sa loob ng 2 linggo para madagdagan yung kinikita ng farmer. Ba't di nila ginagawa? At ba't nila ginawa after? Dahil may kompetisyon na sila. Dati, walang kompetisyon. Sila mismo ang nagdidikta ng presyo. Nung pumasok ang gobyerno, because of the law that we passed, na pwede nang bumili direkta sa tamang presyo ang gobyerno sa ating mga magsasaka, nagkakompetisyon yung middleman. Nagkaroon siya ng problema. Saan na nga kukunin yung source niya? He had to up his prices. So it's really a matter of being able to manage the production side, the importation
and
side.
at this point, do you think we have the capacity to track the whole market? I mean, the supply...
We did it before. Sino ang nag-i-issue ng mga permits ng importation? Phytosanitary, DA. Sino ang may listahan ng lahat ng warehouse sa buong Pilipinas? Dahil ina-accredit ang mga warehousing eh. NFA. Sino ang nagbabantay nung pagpasok-labas ng bigas?
Bureau of
BOC.
Customs.
Mag-group shot lang sila. Alam nila sino yung mga illegal, sino yung pumapasok, etc. Diba? Dahil may dokumento lahat yan eh. So, and we did it before. Direct ang nag-uusap yung BOC at yung NFA. Iisa lang ang dokumento namin. Hindi pwedeng magkaiba yung dokumento. Dahil pagpasok niya, pag hindi binibigay ng NFA yung dokumento sa BOC, ay bakit? Kasi may tinatago. Pero tapos biglang pumasok yung bigas. biglang sasabihin ng customs, oh, smuggle dito, walang permit. Biglang lumabas yung permit ng NFA. Hindi, meron yan. Ano ba talaga? This was before, no? But still, they still have the phytosanitary permit and the
Correct.
applications for importation. They should have the same
It
document.
is possible. Well, very curious to know
It's possible because we did it.
Very, very curious to know what you thought when the president promised in 2022 to bring down the price of rice to 20 pesos a kilo. Ano pong nasa isip niyo noon when he made that promise?
Well, dapat sinabayan niya na, and we are going to quadruple the DA budget throughout my term. In other words, pag sinabi niya, we will bring down rice prices, dapat sinabi niya, at 20 pesos, at para magawa ito, dadagdagan natin ng iti-triple o quadruple natin, dadagdagan natin.
Why an increase in budget?
Well, Vietnam is spending 3 times more government spending than we are. They're only 90 million population.
And what are they spending on? And how are they doing it?
Post-harvest, cold storage is part of post-harvest, warehousing is part of post-harvest, farm-to-market roads, support for insurance. Thailand has only 70 million population, a population of 70 million. They're spending double what we are spending. So if you want to bring down rice prices, you put your money where your mouth is. You give them the wherewithal to be able to make sure that everything is in place. Wastage alone. Because of poor warehousing, maraming wastage. Saan binibilad yung bigas? Yung palay? Sa kalye.
Sa kalye.
Oh, ang daming wastage yun. The estimate is about more than 1 million metric tons of palay is lost. Oh, rice, sorry. Pagka binil mo, about 2 million. We import about now 4 million. So that's 25% of your imports. Already, you can already source if you avoid wastage. So, but wastage means you have the right post-harvest facilities, which means money. You know, there was a study made that without post-harvest facilities in the vegetable industry, Baguio, Benguet, up to 67% of the crop is lost. Kasi walang cold storage, walang proper handling, walang farm-to-market roads, nabubugbog yung ating mga tanim.
Correct.
But if you fix that, then you will have, and reverse it, so 67% will now reach the market. That's why prices are so high, because only 1/3 reaches the market. So there is a lack of supply.
Correct.
But if you reverse that, and 70% of your produce reaches the market, pababa ang presyo. Right now, stunting of our children is up to 30%. Grabe ang gutom dahil mahal ang pagkain at hindi masustansya.
Certainly, a lot of our problems are rooted in
Actually,
agriculture.
and this is the article of Ciel Habito, will address education, will productivity, economic growth, etc. You address agriculture, you address hunger, you address jobs, you address education. Yeah. So if you're failing in agriculture, this is what Ciel Habito said, and NEDA secretary, you will fail in other aspects of statecraft.
I want to
and
go
policy.
into your candidacy. Because we do know you, after a long track in public service, you are gunning for senator once
Saying
again.
hi. Sorry.
Ay, marami po kayo. Dito sa aming likuran. Ito, nandito tayo sa Signal Experience
Yes.
Center. All right, you had your kickoff in Dasmariñas, Cavite yesterday. First off, why Cavite? And we saw VP Leni Robredo yesterday in that rally. Will she be joining all the campaign rallies?
Well, with her schedule permitting, at least before the start of the local, we are planning to have other similar activities. And yes, she will be joining us. She has committed to helping us. Why Cavite? Why not? Di ba? We have a strong network there. It's close to Metro Manila. So media can easily come. And of course, our guests, we don't have to pay for their airfare and their transportation. You know, we're running we have a tight budget.
Well, yesterday,
but also, I consider Cavite my second home province after Pampanga, of course. Pampanga.
What's different this time? You
Well, dalawa lang kami. No?
you are the chairman of the Liberal Party,
Yes, yes.
but you also, in another interview, branded yourself as an alternative opposition, not traditional opposition. What does that mean?
Well, more of an alternative to the two na nagbabangga ang mga di ba, dambuhalang. Ano. So, we are neither with the administration and we are neither with the Duterte group. And, you know, if you, before they united, di ba, it was actually, you know, tatlong options, di ba? But when they united, naging, di ba, naging us, Lenny and Kiko versus them, no? And now they're now fighting each other. So I think we have an opening to present ourselves as an alternative to both. The voters are actually concerned about prices of food, jobs, and education, and that's pretty much what Bam and I are carrying. Yun ang dala namin, and hindi lang dahil sa kampanya. No, Bam was the principal author of the free college education. That was 6 years ago, you know, of 3 years ago already. I have been championing agriculture since 2010. So that's been 15 years. So we're not doing this dahil kampanya pa lang, dahil kampanya lang. We've been doing this for the longest time. And it seems, and we believe, our message addresses precisely kung ano yung dinadaing ng ating mga kababayan. Tiyak na trabaho, mababang presyo ng pagkain, ayusin ang ating food security at ang agriculture.
You banner the color green.
Yes, yes.
Bam is bannering, I think, pink. Risa is bannering the color purple, although she is not running for,
Yes,
she is
yes.
an incumbent.
Yes.
And Shell is running under the color mint green.
Yes.
Isn't this a too fragmented opposition?
Hindi
Because
naman.
the opposition, I mean the traditional opposition or the Liberal Party is being seen by many as leaderless. I asked about VP Lenny because yesterday we had Lito Banayo here and he mentioned that even if Risa Hontiveros was the one being mandated to carry the mantle for the opposition, that the pink movement has not really translated to her. It is still VP Lenny Obredo who carries that.
Yeah.
I mean, hindi ba masyadong nandito kayo, nandito sila?
Well, you know, admittedly, because we are not the administration or, you know, sufficient resources that the administration is able to shore up, diba? Siyempre, we are marginal in that sense. But I believe the voters are always, you know, looking at hinahalo, diba? Ayaw nila ng straight. Kailangan merong kinukuhang iba. And we'd like to be that alternative.
But has there been no conversation about consolidating?
No, we have been discussing. We have been meeting. We have
And to carry on over from the pink movement?
Yes, and that's why I ran again. That's why Bam ran again, because we believe we have to continue what we started. Especially now, if you see all the issues on corruption, impeachment, etc. Diba? What we were calling for, gobyernong tapat, angat buhay lahat, continues to be relevant. So we are soldiering on.
And what is the message of the opposition?
We will address the basic issues that the voters are concerned about. Jobs, food prices, quality of life, education. And we will do it with a clean track record. None of us, neither of us, have had any involvement in corruption cases. I've been elected 3 times, and in no instance have I been ever involved in any of these scandals, Oles, fertilizer, etc. So our clean track record and our vision for addressing food prices, addressing jobs, addressing education, we have that track record, and we will continue and bring that. And we hope the voters will respond.
Yesterday in the kickoff, you did a Zumba session, I think, in QC. We've seen you also in TikToks dancing.
Well, that's part of being able to reach
Pero-
out to all audiences.
I mean, is the way you're campaigning now changed so dramatically? I mean,
No,
from before.
I was also into TikTok.
What have your realizations been since 2020?
You know, the landscape, the mediascape is so cluttered. You know, there's so much information out there that you do have to be very careful and very crafty in bringing out your message so that you can have a share of voice. And that's why, you read any material on social media and digital technology and virality, it says you just have to keep coming up with material after material to be able to see what works. And that's what
And
we're
what
doing.
has worked for you online?
I think the food prices has worked for us, bringing down food prices. Of course, the reality, family. My family life, my being a husband, and a father has also worked for us. That's something that our Filipino voters appreciate.
Well, talking about family, actually marami nagtatanong, bakit hindi nyo raw po madalas sinasama si Sharon? I mean, sa content ninyo, sa videos ninyo.
Kulang pa ba?
Alam natin na, alam
Kala ko
natin na
sobra na eh.
popularity plays. I mean, whether we like it or not,
Yeah.
it is the way that winners are
yeah.
decided.
Yeah, but you don't do everything, including throwing in the kitchen sink just to win. You know, I mean, it's not. All
Have you talked about
winning.
that with her? I mean, what the limitations of her
Siyempre,
participation in your campaign?
She will help, and she has helped. She was there yesterday, and of course,
Pero medyo tahimik kumpara sa iba.
okay lang yun. You know, we respect each other's professional concerns. Diba? She has her own. Sometimes her schedule is more hectic than mine. You know? She was in the U.S. for a concert tour, and then she had Saving Grace. So we'll just have to manage it as we go along. There's no. She will be there, and she will help. We will have ads, radio and TV ads, and I think that is sufficient. I don't want, to how do you call it? To make this the cornerstone of her life for the next 90 days. Hindi naman kailangan. Diba? We have to respect each other. Just like me, I have my own concerns. She has hers. We have to be able to manage it properly. But she will be there, of course.
Siyempre kasama dyan si Donnie Pangilinan.
Yes, we just have to address some of the concerns because professionally there are some restrictions, but they're managing that. They're negotiating.
Correct.
Yeah.
On a final note, we do know that machinery is not on your side because of the current political landscape. It is with the administration. Of course, we have two big groups jostling for all of those votes.
Yeah.
How do you plan to break through? You are, I think, in number 15?
15,
steady
16
number 15,
in one
16,
survey.
just outside of the red line of
That's what the
surveys.
latest,
And we have 3 months to go. How do you plan to break through? Ano pong makinarya po ninyo?
The survey
Kung
before
balak
that,
ninyo?
SWS, we were placed statistically tied from 9 to 13. This next one, a week later, it was 15, 16. So it's still it's in a flux. No? It's fluid. How do we intend to break through? Ultimately, it's the people who will decide. In 2007, hindi ako sumama kay ERAP, hindi ako sumama kay GMA. I went solo. Nag-independent ako. Because I felt then, I asked both of them to resign publicly as a senator, incumbent. And I didn't see how I could justify sa aking mga anak na dahil eleksyon na, joke only yung resign, nasasama na ako. So I went independent. I was number 1 in Cebu, number 1 in Iloilo, number 1 in Dumaguete, number 1 in Osamis, and number 1 in Pampanga. And I felt, why? Because our message, resonated with the voter. That we will focus on on them, not on the big, and we inspired. I remember at that time, we were in a motorcade in a resettlement area in Babalacat. As an independent candidate, this guy in basketball shorts and jersey came up to me, grabbed my hand and said, "Isama mo ito, Kiko." And then when I opened my palm, 100 pesos. So, people, we will have to rely on the people.
Going straight to the people.
In 2022, we saw the outpouring of voter voluntarism, ibang klase. We hope to be able to continue with that message that we are going to focus on good governance. We are going to focus on food prices, jobs, and education. And we hope na sasama sa atin yung mga kababayan natin, magtitiwala at bibigyan tayo ng kanilang matamis na oo.
Tokhang style din po ba yan?
Oh, well, wag naman tokhang. House-to-house campaigning.
O, di ba kasi yung sabi ni Senator Boto, tokhang style daw siya. Alright, I'm sorry we've run out of time. It is a little bit past 9, but we shall have you again. We hope to have you again here.
Yes, thank you.
To talk about the deluge of problems that we have. And obviously, you have a lot of insight into that. Good luck.
Thank you, and good luck
with
on
the
your
national
farm.
campaign.
I see your farm. It's very nice.
We have Senatorial aspirant Kiko Pangilinan right here on Morning Matters.